couples whose wedding was a disaster. What happened? My husband almost broke up with me the week before our wedding. He was a sucker for romance and even proposed to me after having a whole singing flash mob in Times Square, so I wanted to give him the most romantic wedding ever. I started off the planning on a good note and didn't struggle with anything, but when I couldn't find the specific hydrangea that my husband was obsessed with, everything started falling apart. After that I'd spend all day and night thinking about the wedding, and I even lost sleep because I needed to find a specific tablecloth. Whenever I was up late stressing about the wedding, the only thing that could calm me down was eating a snack. So naturally, I ate so many snacks that I gained about 15 pounds in 2 weeks, but I always felt so bloated afterwards and it made it impossible to fall asleep. The lack of sleep then caused headaches and everything started taking me forever to finish. If things couldn't get any worse, everything fell apart the day of my final dress fitting. I went to the boutique with my mom and sister, and I was so excited to see myself in the dress I'd been dreaming of, but when I tried it on, the dress felt so tight I thought it would burst. My heart dropped and I immediately started panicking. I didn't see myself getting married in another dress, so this was going to mess up everything. I couldn't stop sobbing the whole car ride home. My sister tried calming me down and offered solutions like wearing my mom's wedding dress, but I didn't want that. I told them this was the dress I had to get married in, and the only way to fit into it was to starve myself and lose the weight I'd gained. I guess they weren't on board with the idea, because my fiancé found out about it and confronted me later that night. He said that I shouldn't have gone overboard to try to make the wedding perfect, because he was marrying me and that's as perfect as our wedding could get. I started crying and he hugged me, and said that a wedding will always have little mishaps no matter how hard I try to stop them, and that's okay. He said that the only thing that mattered to him right now was my health. He told me that with the help of our family members he could make sure everything was perfect, and I accepted his help when he said I couldn't keep going on like this. With the wedding so close, they did final checkups, and my husband prioritized me. He took me out for meals to make sure I ate properly, booked spa days so I could relax and unwind, and he even made me have a bedtime so that I could get enough sleep. But my body was so used to binge eating that I wouldn't be able to sleep without eating no matter how hard I tried. I would lay in pain until all my willpower left me, and then I would get up and eat until my stomach felt like bursting. Naturally, my weight wasn't coming off and I still woke up tired out of my mind, but my fiancé started researching for something that would help stop me from eating so much at night and also help me sleep better, and he knew that my favorite thing in the entire world were cookies. So it wasn't long before he showed up with some night food cookies and I gave him the biggest side eye. I reminded him that he was supposed to help me stop eating at night, not encouraging it. He was quick to say that the cookies would stop me from binge eating because they would satiate my hunger and put me to sleep, unlike the other foods I was eating. I told him that I was worried about continuing to gain weight if I was just going to keep eating at night, but he repeated himself and said that they have less calories than regular cookies and their ingredients will curb my appetite and make me go to sleep so they would help me lose weight. I caved and I ate the cookies later that night, not really expecting anything to happen, but according to my husband, I passed out just after eating 3 cookies. He said it was the fastest I had ever been asleep, and the next day, I woke up feeling refreshed. It was the best sleep I had gotten throughout the entire wedding planning, and in my life. My husband started making sure I ate the cookies every night, and whenever I started to fall asleep, he'd play with my hair to further soothe me and reassure me how perfect our wedding was going to be. After a week of eating the night food cookies, my husband said I had to try my dress on because he wanted to make sure I was losing weight. So, I tried it on and even though it was still tight, I didn't feel as much discomfort as I did when I first tried it, so I knew that I was dropping pounds. Since I was getting high-quality sleep as I continued eating the night food cookies leading up to my wedding, my body was able to raise its metabolism, which also made it so much easier to keep my gut away. I even noticed that I didn't have the urge to binge eat anymore. Just eating 3 cookies satisfied my nightly cravings, and it helped that my husband was taking me on dates in the daytime. So, there wasn't any reason for me to binge eat anymore. And since I was knocking out so fast and slept well, I had more energy and didn't need to power through with coffee. Once my eye bags disappeared, I told my husband about my progress so that I could ask about handling the wedding preparations again, but he said no before the words even left my mouth. He told me not to even think about it because our family and him were handling it perfectly well, just like I wanted. He told me to trust him and just focus on myself, so I did. I continued to eat the night food cookies, and was glad that I didn't have to rely on tubs of ice cream or meals for a family of 5 anymore, especially since I wouldn't even be able to fall asleep afterwards. And every week that I tried my wedding dress on, I could see and feel the changes that my new lifestyle and the night food cookies were having on my body. My dress wasn't tight and actually fit my body perfectly. I felt like a goddess whenever I stared at myself in the mirror, with my slim body and gorgeous dress. I couldn't wait for my husband to see me in it. Luckily, he didn't have to wait long because before I knew it, I was walking down the aisle in my dream gown feeling confident and healthy, and my husband looked at me in awe. He even mouthed that "I love you" to me and my heart just melted. But I also noticed that everything from the flowers to the seating arrangements to the decorations was absolutely perfect. I saw the love and care my husband had put into making sure our day was everything I wanted it to be, and I loved him more for it. But I finally realized that my husband was right. I was marrying him and that's as perfect as our wedding could get.